Welcome back to Barn Built Beaters. Unfortunately, we still do not have our beater here, but soon. What we're working on today, we have all the electrical basically ran except for this little square right here, the attic door. So we're going to be building that. It's going to be hinged right in the middle with 1 or 2 lights in it, and we'll have to figure it out as we go. If you're like me and you bought a car instead of a truck like an idiot, well, how do you get wood to your house, right? Well, luckily Lowe's, and I believe Home Depot too, they actually cut your wood for you if you ask them. So that's exactly what I did. I bought 3 10-foot boards and had them cut roughly to the dimensions I need because I don't trust the employees to make the exact cut. So we have 2 60-inch boards and 4 48-inch boards. And then this right here is just some scrap that we'll be using later on. I'll show you exactly what I have planned for that. We have the engine 2B for my truck. It's a 12-valve Cummins. It's just the block, but I got some parts laying around like the P-pump and the crank, and then the mains. So as you can see, some projects. I used to have a welder, but I sold it to buy a new one and never bought the new one. So that'll eventually be coming. But anyways, we are over here and we're going to be using this miter saw to make the cuts that we need. I just measured the exact dimensions, so we'll cut those real quick and then bring them back down to the barn, and hopefully I've measured twice and only have to cut once. So I only cut 4 pieces because the other 2 pieces go in the middle and I didn't measure those. And I also think we ran into another issue is I measured the complete square, but one board or 2 sides of the board will take up 3 inches. So this dimension here between the 2 boards will be should be 3 inches less than what I measured. So I'm sure that's what happened. So I'm gonna run out there, check it, and if it's wrong, I can cut it. Luckily, hopefully it will be too long and not too short. We're up here in the attic door frame. What I'm doing right now for ease is I'm leaving this white board up that goes along the perimeter. Eventually that will be taken down, but for right now, it gives us a nice working space. So what I'm doing is I'm putting these 2x4s, resting them up on here. I have the one side, which is a slightly different measurement by like 1/8 of an inch, I kept over here, and then these boards are for this side over here. So if we take one of each, put them where they're supposed to go, then what I did is I measured before. I measured the whole entire perimeter. So from this corner to that corner and that corner all the way to that corner. But with a piece of wood in the corner, that distance is now shorter. So now we have to measure from this corner to that corner. So roughly 3 inches shorter. So back to the garage, cut those, and then we can test fit it and screw the 2 pieces together. And then we have one side partially complete. I went back and cut some of that wood, as I had mentioned before. This piece right here, instead of being 46, it's more like 43. As you can see, it fits pretty snugly. It's just in here by a interference fit. So right here, this is where the door is going to split right on this line. Part of it's going to open this way, part of it's going to open the other way. So what I want to do is just cut this ever so slightly, because right now I'm afraid that when the door comes down, it's going to be pressed up ever so slightly, and the ceiling is gonna like look like it's bowed. So my plan is to mount a 2x4 square right here, and then when it closes, it catches this rafter right here, so it'll sit flush with the other rafter, and hopefully the ceiling will be just as flush as the rest of it. I brought this piece up into the rafters and placed it up there, and it looked really good. So it fits perfect. There's a slight bow in here. So what I did to account for that is I placed this side flush up against the rafter that's up there, and then I measured the gap over here that is in between this side and the rafter there, and then I measured this and added that little tiny gap to this piece, which should be this piece. So we'll do the exact same process, screw it in, bring it up there, test fit it. If it needs some trimming, we'll unscrew it, trim it, screw it back, test fit it again. Nope. So, since this didn't fit, I doubt you guys can tell, but this corner is up in the air. It's gonna be too tight, and I want the door to operate real smoothly. So what we're gonna have to do, pull what we just did apart, trim it just a little bit, slam it back together, bring it up here, test fit it again. Kinda sucks, but that's the name of the game. I built the other half of the door, and then I've mounted this pretty much completely. So as you can see, we have a hinge here. It's just a simple door hinge, and we had to put a chunk of 2x4 in here to mount the hinge because it's a little bit too big for the two studs together. My one gripe, this door hinge does not lay completely flat, so the bottom of this joist is actually not perfectly flush with this rafter here. I might have to sand it, might have to do something with it so it's at least better than what it is, but it's not terrible. So I also did this side, as you can see. Then we come around to this corner, the middle of the door. As I said, I'm going to use the scrap for something. This is actually acting as a dead stop. So if we open the door, and then when you close it, the door comes down, hits this rafter, keeps this perfectly flush. We got both doors made, but there's a slight issue. They're very, very tight on each other, and I just have some tweaking to do. So as you can see, if I push up on this, I really, can't push up on it on one hand. I want it to operate a little smoother, and then if there's any trim, I need it to fit in here. So I think we're gonna have to pull it apart, or maybe just sand some edges, but it operates as it should, just not quite as well as it should. that looks better. Not completely measured out correctly, but just temporarily up there. And man, is it hot, but it does look good. We just finished wiring up the lights, so I wanted to show you how the door works. I'm sure you can imagine, but here it is. We have the seam in the middle, as I've said before. So if I need to come up here, I would have to get a ladder, and then you just simply push up right on the seam, and both ends open, and voila, we're up into the attic. Each door will have a little hook, so I can hook it to the rafter to keep them open. So if I'm in and out of this area, I don't have to keep opening and closing the doors, they'll stay. And since the lights are in the doors, the attic space will be relatively lit up from these two lights. And then as you come down, you bring them together, and you just slowly bring them down, and the dead stops up here keep everything flush with the ceiling, so it'll look real good. Well, that wraps up this video. I know the door is not technically complete, but it's as far as we can go right now. If you guys like what you see, hit that like button, subscribe so you can see more and more progress on this building. And as always, some constructive criticism in the comments below always helps this channel become better and grow a little bit more. All the tools, materials, and whatever else I use will be in the description below, so look for that if you have a similar project. Thanks for watching.